Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Pixie Love. You guys can call me Pixie. And today we're doing some r/IAmATotalPOS because I need a bigger reason to hate humanity. What I like to do at the end of these videos is let me know who you guys think is the biggest POS in this video, and I'll be letting you guys know who I think the biggest POS, and we can have a conversation down at the bottom how all these people are horrible people. Alright? Alright. Me remembering when I was 8 years old and lied about an old man touching me in the park so he got arrested, all because I was an attention seeker. Okay. There's a lot to digest with that. That's fucked up. What were you going through in your life to come up with that type of lie? Like that's dark. And I am sorry for that old man because you're a bitch. You've been a bitch since you were 18 years old. That's horrible. This was titled, Pervert Recording a Woman Sleeping on the Bus. That's so creepy. Like, why? What do you get out of that? I don't know. That's creepy. We're gonna continue. Okay, so we can clearly see the sign that says, please stay on the trail. We can clearly see the sign that says, please stay on the trail, site restoration in progress, right? So let's see if someone decided not to listen. Oh, so the blurry quality is not me, it's them. Like, how entitled do you have to be? It's literally blocked off. It says, hey, basically, you can't go in this direction, stay on the trail, follow the rules, be a decent human being. We are trying to restore this area to its glory, to its beauty, and we can't do that with your dirty little feet stepping all over everything. But no, you have to get that good picture for your Instagram and your portfolio, so you want to fuck up the wilderness. I can't. I had to grab my headphones for this one, because this video is about 3 minutes long, and I don't know if I'm going to watch all of this, but this woman is trying to explain why she pops or spanks her 6-month-old disabled child to teach it manners. Listen, I'm not a huge advocate for spanking children, but you know, if it's a 4, 5-year-old, you know, you just pop them on their hand to teach them a little lesson. That's one thing, as long as that's not the only form of punishment. But there is no reason why you should be hitting a 6-month-old. They have to learn to behave. Excuse me? But let's hear this wonderful person's reason for why they're hitting their 6-month-old disabled child.
I'm addressing those people that are losing their minds over the fact that I popped my son. He's 6 months old. I pop him on a daily basis, like every hour now. In his whole life, I've actually only popped him like twice, and that was because he was screaming because he was angry, and he was just losing his temper. So I popped him. Popping is always a second resort.
Okay. Once again, how is a 6-month-old going to understand that popping means to stop crying? Because I think when you hit a 6-month-old, they're going to keep crying. And once again, this is a 6-month-old. They don't have a temper. He's not losing his temper. There's something wrong with him. He can't communicate with you that there's something wrong with him. So the baby cries so you can figure out what's wrong with him. If something's hurting him, that's your job to figure out. If something's upsetting him, that's your job to figure out. If he's hungry, that's your job to figure out. If he is using the bathroom, that is your job to figure out. 6 months. Not a 1-year-old, not a 2-year, like, once again, those ages, oh, excuse me. Once again, that age, 1, 2, 3 is still very young to be popping your kid, in my opinion. But a 6-month-old, there is no excuse. And I don't believe that you only popped this kid twice in his life and one of the 2 times you caught on camera.
Though, unless he, when he gets older, unless he's lied or he's being disobedient. Those are always immediate spankings. But I do believe in spanking. I do spank him, and I will continue to spank him until he's an adult, because he has to learn discipline and boundaries and rules, even if he is disabled. Disabled kids do not.
I agree. He has to learn boundaries and rules and how to behave. But when you're an adult, when you do something bad, do you get spanked or do you get a punishment like going to jail, which is essentially a timeout, right? So why don't you teach your kids real world consequences? They're not, and hey, sometimes people talk a little wrong and they get punched in the face by another stranger. Whatever. But most of the time, if someone does something wrong, like lose their temper or steal or lies, they're not going to get a spanking. They're going to go to jail as an adult, right? So a kid version of going to jail is a timeout. Put your kid in a corner for 10 minutes. If they get older, take away items from them, make them only have the bare minimum. People don't think that shit works. It works. It just takes time and it's patience. And this woman obviously does not have the patience to deal with a disabled child, let alone a regular child, because she thinks it's okay to spank and pop a 6-month-old baby. This baby cannot talk. This child cannot communicate with you. And you think it's okay to pop them. I don't need to hear anything else she has to say. She's fucking horrendous. Authorities called out bystanders who filmed the alleged sexual assault of a woman on a Philadelphia train instead of helping her. Okay, let me explain this story to you guys. That's just a circle. Okay. So, there was apparently, I think it was a full-on R-word on a train. In a train car full of people. And instead of helping this woman, no one did anything. No one stopped it. No one stepped in. No one intervened. But a few people recorded it. Maybe they want to have proof or whatever. But you know what would have been better? Stopping it. This poor woman endured this for minutes until the train stopped and someone helped her. Oh my God. I saw this on the news and I find that so disgusting. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't even know. If something like that happened to me, I would go full on revenge fucking mode on these people. It would be like a thriller movie. I would go and hunt every one of these motherfuckers down and kill every single one of them, or kill someone that they fucking love and then kill them and then kill the person who assaulted me. Because that's like a dystopia. That's like a movie. That is something you would have seen in a movie. Like, it's just disgusting. And I can't. Oh, I hate that. This story pisses me off. I hate it so much. Once again, I saw this again. And to make it worse, no one made 911 calls. People recorded and no one called. They just watched. And I was reading the comments in the other one. And apparently, like, Philadelphia is a very misogynistic, sexist town. I haven't been in Philly in a long time, but I can only imagine. Person talked about how she was a teenager and she was sexually assaulted multiple times a day just walking around and being out in public, and it's just this. Oh my God, okay, I'm gonna move on from this story, but please don't do this. If you see someone in need, please help them, or at least call 911 call the proper people to get them help. This is a disgusting act of humanity. Okay, that was 3 women holding down a child while she gets her ears pierced. Listen. Okay, that was disturbing to watch. And that's why I honestly think it is easier to get them done when they are very young. When they are very young. I had my ears pierced when I was really young. I don't have a traumatic experience from it. Everyone I know that did get it done older either had really bad infections and are traumatized by getting their ears pierced. Or if you don't want to wait when your child's really young, wait until they're old enough to consent, which I think some people, that's an argument a lot of people have been making nowadays, like kids can't consent to having their ears pierced. I think when they're an infant, they're not going to remember it. But once they're like this child age, even if she says, mommy, I want to go get my ears pierced, but if she then changes her mind, be like, okay, baby, we don't have, they did both ears. She was screaming before they did the first hole. So like, she didn't want that. Like, that's ridiculous. If I was the, I wouldn't want, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not piercing your daughter's ears while she's screaming like that. Either bring her back another day when she's in a better mood, or have someone else do it, because I'm not doing it. I wouldn't do it, no. That was disturbing to watch. When a client wants to trauma dump first session, never happening on my watch ever again. Okay, I've never done therapy, but I don't think I would want my therapist posting things like this on TikTok. And like, isn't it your job as a therapist, if you don't want them trauma dumping, like just telling you their whole life, isn't it your job to try to guide a conversation? So if they're talking about a lot of things, isn't it your job to be like, hey, stop, let's talk about that one experience you just brought up, instead of telling me the whole story? Isn't that what your job is supposed to do? So if your client is trauma dumping, I don't think you're properly doing your job. Like I said, I've never been in therapy, but it's bad to say, like, I've seen, you know, shows where people go to therapy and stuff like that, and I've seen shows that, like, I've seen therapists talk about things and stuff like that, and I see a talk of, like, you know, the patient is talking about a story, right? And in the middle of the story, the therapist will be like, well, how about you tell me how you felt in that moment? Or, you know, or what did you think you, like, instead of having them tell the whole, they stop them. So they're not trauma dumping, right? And if there's any place to trauma dump, I think your therapist would be the place to do it. But once again, if your client is trauma dumping, I don't think you're doing your job properly. So I think the issue is you and not your client. It's their first session. It's not your first session. Okay? Okay. As Afghanistan sinks into devastation, some sell children to survive. UN warns that 95% of Afghans aren't getting enough to eat as winter approaches. Sahila, holding her nephew, fears she might have to sell her 3-year-old daughter. I want to say, why is that a choice? Because, like, if you're going to sell your child, you're not going to, if someone is willing to buy, they're not going to buy a child for good reasons, especially in a impoverished place like this that's being, I would rather my kid starve to death with me than to sell them to someone to live a life of misery. And I think that's fucked up, but like, if those are my two options, I could not live with myself knowing that I had to sell my child just so I have something to eat, while my child's probably living a life of fucking misery and torture. I've been poor. We've never been that low. I live in America where we're fortunate. Even in the rough areas, we're more fortunate than other places. And I couldn't imagine this. I couldn't imagine this being my option. And that's going to be the end of this video, you guys. Sorry to leave it on such a sad note. I don't know. Obviously, to me, all these people were fucked up and horrible. The people who sat by and watch a woman get sexually assaulted, and it's the worst form of sexual assault, people, the R word, okay? And the person who does it, they very on top. They're probably number one, but also that lady who thinks it's okay to pop a 6-month-old kid because he's losing his temper. That bitch too. I didn't forget about you. I'm still mad at you. But let me know who you guys think is the biggest POS in this video. That was a lot, okay? We'll do something a little bit more lighthearted tomorrow. Most likely Fat Logic or Fat Acceptance TikTok. I'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Anyway, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys leave a like. If you guys like me, make sure you guys subscribe, because I do videos Monday through Friday. If you want to follow me on my social media, they're all up here on the top. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.